Hey, aloha. Welcome to our Friday live coaching call. I'm Tom Gaddis, and I want to start today off with a question. I want you to let me know in the comments if you have ever started a project and then got to the domain setup part and it was like so overwhelming, you got so far in the weeds that maybe you just gave up, right? So in digital marketing, this is like one of the hidden costs of technical overwhelm, right? We're all excited, we're ready to jump in, we get in, and then we start running into some technical difficulties and we end up abandoning projects, not completing them, not taking the necessary actions, which ends up with lost revenue, right? Well, on today's call, by the end of this call, I am going to make DNS seem simple. It'll make as much sense as looking up a name in the phone book. So we are going to take a complicated subject because I know DNS can feel like a horror movie, but it really is just like a phone book. I'm going to go over that. I have a special checklist for you. We've also got our shout outs, member of the week. We have some exciting updates for Smart Directory AI to talk about, the members area and the software. Plus, I am going to take your questions. It's going to be a great call today. So let's just dive right in and get started with DNS. So why does DNS feel like a horror movie, right? Well, the problem that I see most and like I experienced when I was first getting into marketing was kind of like technical intimidation, I like to call it, right? DNS feels complicated because we've been conditioned to think it's developer stuff, right? You see terms like propagation, name servers, and TTL values, and your brain immediately goes, nope, that's above my pay grade. It's like a foreign language, right? It's like walking into the mechanic shop and hearing them talk about different gear ratios. So it sounds scary, but it's really just car parts doing simple jobs, right? So the real issue, I think, behind why DNS and things like setting up domains and emails to an extent as well seems complicated is it's really just bad explanations, right? Like most DNS tutorials out there are done by tech people for tech people, right? So they throw around jargon like confetti at a New Year's Eve party, right? They'll say things like point your A record to the IP address of your hosting provider's server. And it's like, well, instead of just simply telling you, like, look, all we're going to do here is tell the internet where your website lives. Okay. So it's really DNS at its core to just take all the technical stuff and simplify it. DNS is just address management. So that's why I like to compare it to a phone book, because here's what DNS actually is. It's literally just a giant address book for the internet. Okay. Really just a giant address book for the internet. When someone types in a domain name, DNS is like the old time operators. You remember in the old movies, they had the old time operators and they had like all the chords and they'd answer and they'd be like connecting you to, and they were like managing the switchboard of all the calls and how people got connected. Well, that's really what DNS is like the operator who looks it up and says, oh, that website, well, that website lives at this address. That's it. No magic, no rocket science. It's just address lookup. So think about how the phone book works, right? So if you want to, now some of you may be young and you may be saying, I don't even remember phone books, but for all of you people that are like me, you know, in your golden years, this is give me a good flashback. So when the phone books were the thing, right? If you wanted to contact John's Pizza, you go to the phone book. The phone book says John's Pizza is at 555-1234, right? That is your server's IP address. So that phone number is just like your website's IP address. So they dial the number and they get connected, which in DNS term means the visitor reaches your website. So does everybody follow me on that? Right? So your IP address It's just like a unique phone number for your digital property, your website, right? And when somebody goes to the internet and they type in a domain name, the DNS says, oh, that website lives at this number, right? So here's the agency owner reality. You don't need to understand how phone companies route calls to use a phone book, right? Well, you don't need to be a DNS engineer to connect a domain, right? You just need to know which phone numbers to write in which spots. And that is exactly what I'm going to cover today. So the only reason this really feels complicated is because my guess is nobody's ever explained it like the simple address system that it actually is, right? So how does high level fit into the domain ecosystem? Because I see this question a lot in the Facebook group and sometimes even the school group. Anybody on this stream right now who's wondering, like, well, like, because I see questions like, if I have Smart Directory AI, do I need a hosting account? Where do the websites, like, can I put a WordPress website in high level? So maybe you're unclear on how high level ties into all of this website, DNS, hosting, all of these things. Anybody in here like that? Yep. Okay. All right. I see a couple of people popping in there that, yes, that's them. Okay. So let me explain how high level fits in to the DNS ecosystem, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of setting up some DNS. So I think the best way to think of high level is like a property management company. Okay. So if your domain, like if your website, example smart direct, let's just use example smartdirectory.com. If example smartdirectory.com is your website, right? Then high level is your property management company that actually helps you use that real estate to make money. So you own the land. The domain is the land. But high level builds and manages all the profitable buildings that you put on that land. So your funnels, your landing pages, your websites, your booking system, your invoicing system. In our case, Smart Directory AI lives inside your high level account. So high level, so your domain, when it's connected to high level provides you with all the stuff that you can put on that domain, right? That's why when you have high level and you install Smart Directory AI, you don't need a hosting account or anything like that. Or when you set up or build a website in high level, you don't need a hosting account because all of that stuff lives in high level. High level is essentially the hosting account for your websites, and you just point the domains to that high level address, that high level number, right? Okay, so I want to go quickly over the 3-layer system just to kind of hopefully make this a little more clear. So you own the domain, right? You own the domain. So that is like owning the street address of a physical property. So your domain is like owning 123 Main Street, right? Your domain registrar, the domain registrar is like the city hall. It officially holds the records and tells people that you own this specific address, this specific property, right? High level is like the construction company that builds all the money-making buildings on the land. So what does high level actually do with your domain? Well, you can create funnels and landing pages. So high level creates digital storefronts that live at your domain address. You can set up subdomains. So you could think of subdomains like if you have a main building on your property, a subdomain would be like in Hawaii, they would call it an ohana, or maybe a separate building where somebody else could live. There's something different over there, right? So it's like the different buildings on your property. And these would be things like app.yourdomain.com or book.yourdomain.com. So those things may have an app, or that may be a book that has different content than your main website, right? High level also hosts the email system. So it sets up the mail delivery for your domain. So your automated emails actually reach people. So it's kind of like your own little post office, right? It's got tracking and analytics. It monitors all the foot traffic coming into your digital property. So you can see like, here's how many visitors I'm getting. Here's all this stuff, right? The connection process. So I'm going to talk about why this matters. And then we are going to get into some actual, me showing you some domain server setup and all that stuff as well. And I will take your questions. So when you create a funnel in high level, it initially lives at a ugly high level URL, like yourfunnel.myhighlevel.com, right? So that's like having a really great looking store, but the address is store number 47. It's generic strip mall, right? So like we don't want that. We want our address to be pretty, to look good. So when you go into high level and you connect your custom domains, it's like moving your physical storefront to something like 123yourawesomebrand.com instead of just the generic, right? It's the same store, but now it looks professional and it builds your brand equity instead of high level. So when someone comes to your domain, they come to all your high level assets, they see your branding, not high levels, right? So this is actually an agency owner's goldmine, because this is where you make your money, right? When clients see their professional branded URLs working perfectly, they trust you more, they pay you more, and they refer you more. But when domains don't work, everything kind of falls apart. The funnel looks amateur, emails bounce, and clients lose confidence. So high level's role in your success here is that high level handles all the complex back-end stuff, the hosting, the security, the uptime, while you just need to connect the address properly. Now, it's like having a world-class property management team in your corner, right? You just need to give them the right keys, the DNS settings, and then they're able to manage yours or your client's digital empire. So high level is your profit generating machine, but domains are what makes it look professional and trustworthy to your clients. Is everybody with me there? And I know a lot of you probably saw this as well, but like yesterday, when high level was down, why did that happen? Well, because Google Cloud and Cloudflare, both DNS providers, they went down. And because they were the ones setting the addresses and where to direct the traffic to all these various softwares online, a lot of softwares were affected yesterday because the place that was telling everybody where to go and where these things lived was having issues. So I'm going to go over the technical jargon, and then we're going to jump in and I'm going to show you a couple of DNS setups. Now, I will tell you right up front that there are a lot of DNS registrars, right? So I'm going to show you some examples using Namecheap, because that's typically what we use. We get most of our domains at Namecheap, and we set all of our DNSs there. But if you buy your domains at GoDaddy, maybe you buy your domains at HostGator, Bluehost, wherever you get them, you can even buy domains through high level directly. So it all lives in there. It may look a little different when you're going to set up the DNS, but it is all very similar. And if you ever run into problems and you're like, I can't find any, you're like, I don't know how to do this. If you just go to Google and type in, how do I edit DNS records for, and just put in the name of whatever your domain registrar is, you'll find information on how to do that, right? So I'm going to show you with Namecheap, right? So let's go over a couple of terms that we need to understand. So DNS, that stands for domain name servers. Like I said earlier, it's really just the phone number for your website. So when you buy a domain name, like let's just use example.com. When you buy example.com, that domain name is not connected to anything, right? It's just a domain name. So if you want people to go to that domain name and see something, you have to connect it to a digital property. And that usually means connecting that domain name to a hosting account. But in our case, because we're using high level, we connect our domains to high level. And that allows us to build websites and funnels and send emails and do all the things that you can do with the domain name when it's connected to the right asset, right? If you're not using High Level, you'll have to connect your domain name to some type of hosting account. You cannot have a website, a domain name without a hosting account. So in our case, High Level does all those functions for, and a lot more. It's not just a hosting account. It does a ton of other stuff. That's why we love to use it, right? So DNS, domain name server. Hosting account, that's where all the files and everything live for the assets that show up on your domain, right? So a record, it's just like the street address or the phone number. It's where your website lives, okay? So when you have a domain name like example.com and you have an IP address, you go into your domain name server and you tell that domain name server, this website lives at this specific address. And now whenever someone goes to that URL, they are shown what's on this IP address. So an A record is just the main address for your website. An A record for most DNS registrars is going to be pointing to your root domain. So what is your root domain? Well, that is just your main domain. So example.com is your root domain, right? That's your main domain. www.example.com is actually not your root domain because your root domain doesn't have www on the front. So that is actually kind of like a type of subdomain. So if you want people to be able to go to www.example.com, you have to set that up in your DNS. It doesn't just happen automatically. All right. And you usually do that with what's called a CNAME record. So a CNAME record is like a forwarding address. So in DNS jargon, these are like redirects and aliases. So when you go to a domain name registrar and you tell it example.com points to this specific IP address, right? Now you say, well, look, if somebody types in www.example.com, I want them to go to that same place. Well, the way you do that is you set up a CNAME record and you tell the DNS registrar that, hey, when someone types in www. In front of my domain name, they're actually looking for this website. So send them over to example.com. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me know in the chat. Give me a yes. Let me know in the chat if this makes sense. I know it can be complicated, but I promise it's very, very straightforward and easy once you kind of get a handle on this. So those cover your A records and your CNAME, right? Thanks, Rainer. Thanks, Lori. All right, awesome. Fantastic. So for email to function correctly on your domain, you also have to have records at your domain registrar for your email. So these are called MX records. Those are mail routes. So those are for email delivery. So whenever you see MX records, that is dealing specifically with the email to your domain. So when you want someone to be able, like if I want someone to email me, tom@example.com, I have to set up my MX records so that that email system knows what to do. You also do that with text records, although they can be for email and other things. So text records or TXT records are special instructions. They're like verifications and settings. And then subdomains are like apartment numbers in a building, right? This is how you organize your digital real estate. So again, you know, maybe you have a website like example.com, and on that website, there's a bunch of information. And you come along and you see that you find Smart Directory, and you're like, hey, I would love to have a directory to go with example.com, but I don't want to put it on a different domain name. I want it to be part of the brand at example.com. So you could create a subdomain that would be, you could do something like directory.example.com. And now if someone goes to example.com, they'll see your regular website. But if they go to directory.example.com, they would see your Smart Directory AI website. So it's an additional property with all different content, but it all lives in the same space. Okay? Yeah. And Frank, you're absolutely right. This is essential skills. Get it right once, and it's like riding a bike. Yeah, these DNS, and this is why we're covering this day, because I know it's not sexy, right? It's not like the latest AI tech and all that stuff, but this is something you are going to come into contact with. You're going to deal with DNS. You're going to deal with A records, CNAME records, MX record, TXT records, subdomains. You are going to run into this in your journey. And understanding this will just make your life so much easier. I see so many people that get to this point and then they're just like, it just is overwhelmed, right? So the whole point of this is to help you get it. Yeah, Philip, I see the live chat. Yeah. Kat, thanks. Awesome. Okay. So let me share my screen, and I am going to take you guys into, let me get over here, one of our DNS accounts. So again, the domain registrar, that is just simply wherever you bought your domain name. Okay, wherever you bought your domain name. So I'm going to go in here to the window. I'm going to share this. So you guys this is our Namecheap. This is where we buy most of our domains. And so whenever you buy a domain, it's just in this big list, right? And so when you want to edit the DNS of a domain, you just go to your domain registrar, wherever that is, locate the domain you want to edit. So I'm going to use this example smartdirectory.com domain. And you just click on this manage button. And it's going to open up a window. And let me go through a few things here. So like you usually see the status, the validity, if there's privacy protection, like this hides your personal information. Namecheap has a thing called premium DNS. We don't ever get that. These name servers redirect. This is some general information. But when you're editing your domain and you're setting up the records like I'm talking about, you usually want to do that in your advanced DNS settings. So I'm going to go to advanced DNS settings, and we're just going to go over some of these records because I have some in here. These are records that you set up when you're setting up a Smart Directory AI site. So this is another important reason to, have this skill under your belt, because it will make the setup of any websites or digital properties that you do moving forward very, 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 very easy. So can somebody let me know in the chat what the A record is? So the A record always has to point to one specific thing. Can somebody let me know in the chat what it is? While you're doing that, I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. So there are 3 parts, right, or 4 parts to the domain information. There's the type of record that it is, there's the host, and there's the value. So the value is like where you're pointing it, right? And Michael, that is exactly right. An A record always points to an IP address. An A record, most domain registrars will not let you point an A record to something other than an IP address. So an A record always points to an IP address, okay? And it's like the street address, exactly. So when you create an A record, the host is where it goes. So like if you want this IP address to point to your root domain, in our case, example, smartdirectory.com, then in the host spot, we put the @ symbol. That's like the universal symbol for root domain. So the A record is pointing example, smartdirectory.com to this specific IP address. Okay. And then you'll notice that I also have a CNAME record set up down here. There's a couple, and I'm going to go over what these CNAME records are for. But like you'll notice there's a CNAME record, which who remembers what I said about CNAME records? What are they like? What type of name is this? What does a CNAME record do? I want to get some feedback. Make sure you guys are paying attention. We're getting this, right? I know I have a little bit of delay in the comments. Let me take a drink while you're doing it. Rainer says, yes. Yes. Dorn, right. Breederx, 40. It's like a nickname. So I like to think of CNAMEs like a nickname, right? So right now, this CNAME record is pointing to pages.sitesludicrous.cloud. The reason I have this in here is because this is a Go high level funnel that is connected to my Smart Directory AI site. So whenever somebody comes to this, it is showing them these funnel pages in my Smart Directory, right? So like so Smart Directory AI, by the way, whenever you connect your domain to Smart Directory AI, the software, it automatically gives you an SSL certificate, and the software automatically redirects the www. That's why you don't see a CNAME record here for that. So A records are the root domains. CNAMEs are like nicknames or redirects. TXT records, these are like special instruction things. So you can see here, this TXT record is actually for DMARC. So that is an email deliverability message to help with email deliverability. And this TXT record here is also a email thing, because you can see you see lead connector in here. So this is helping the lead connector system in high level know where to send messages and how to send them and all that stuff as well. So now one thing that is kind of, I don't know if it'll be the same way in your domain registrar, but in Namecheap, you have like your host records in one area, and then you have like host records, special instructions. So A records, CNAME, TXT records, all will be in here. But your email settings are in a different section called mail settings. So you can see down here, I have MX records. And what do MX records always relate to? I see this question here is failing. Did you try reinstalling the SSL? When you go to your domain setup, there's a button there that says reinstall SSL. And then also too, do you have an SSL installed already that might be conflicting with the new one you're trying to install? So those would be two ways I would troubleshoot that. Also, I would submit a ticket to the support so they can troubleshoot it for you and help you figure that out. Yes, Lori, exactly right. MX email stuff. MX email stuff. So whenever you see an MX record, you'll always know that is relating to email. And in high level, Lead Connector is powered by Mailgun. So Lead Connector is like their white label of Mailgun, right? So when you see this here, mailgun.org, these are email records. Okay. So that's the domain register side, right? Going in, figuring this up. Let's talk about the high level side of this for just a minute. So when you log into your high level account, if you go to settings, now I'm in a sub account. So if I go to settings, there's a thing down here in the other settings, there's domains, right? If I click on that, it will pull up a list of the domains that I have connected. Okay. So you can see here are some subdomains that I created, one for the funnel pages in my Smart Directory AI site, and one to handle email for my Smart Directory AI site. So to set these two things up, all I had to do was go to my domain server and add some CNAME records, an MX record, and that kind of stuff, right? And if I click on manage, you can see like it will tell you everything's all set. You can, like, if you need to set a default page, you can do that. So, and in Smart Directory AI, I walk you through step-by-step how to do all this stuff. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But domains is where you find all your domain, main domain settings and things like that inside high level. Now, you can also get to domain settings in other places as well. So for instance, on the left-hand high-level menu tabs, you'll see there's sites. So this is where all of the website and funnel functionality of high-level lives. Oh, BTW, you just go to offlinesharks.com/support. offlinesharks.com/support. Okay, so you'll see here in this funnel, this is my Smart Directory AI funnel. So this is a funnel that got imported when I installed the Smart Directory AI snapshot. You'll also see up along this top menu item here, there's websites, stores, anything related to websites, chat widgets, all that stuff exists here in the sites tab in your high level dashboard. Okay. So if I want to connect a domain to a funnel that I have in here, I can just select the funnel that I want and go to this settings tab. And then you'll see right here, there's a drop down that says, please connect a domain. So if I already have a domain connected in my high level, I can just select the domain I want from the drop down, and that will associate this funnel with that domain. Okay. Everybody with me on there? And then there's some other settings you can do here for this as well, right? Like if you wanted to add a chat widget, you can just go to this drop down and select the chat widget that you have set up. Okay. So that's another place where you can set up your domain. And if you come here and you don't have any domain set up, you can just click this connect domain and it takes you to the connect domain settings so that you can connect a domain and get it all set up. All right. Websites as well. Believe it, I don't have any websites on here, but if you create a new website, like let's say that let's just do one from blank. Oh, we'll just do test. And then I click create. When the website gets created, here's our test website. You'll see I have this same menu items that exists in the funnel tab. And if I go to settings, here I am. I can either select an existing domain to associate with this website, or I can purchase a domain directly from in high level, or I can connect a domain. And that would set it all up, right? So those are also places where you can access the domain settings. So the main place, you go all the way to the bottom to settings, and you just find domains in this list. But you can also access it directly from a lot of the website things that you're working on. So if you're building a website, you can access from there, or if you have a funnel, you can build it from here. So what is the difference between a website and a funnel? Well, the main difference is a funnel is a series of connected pages, right? So like we can build out funnel steps in the funnel section. A website is just going to be pages it's just an individual website. We can have multiple pages on the website, but it's not an actual funnel, right? It's one property with multiple pages. Whereas a funnel, these are each one of these is an individual property. So this could be an opt-in, a landing page, a thank you page, a membership access page, right? So like a funnel is actual steps. Okay. Hey, Julie. Nice. Okay. All right. So I want to run through real quick my 10-minute domain checklist. So I'm going to put a link up on the screen, and then we're going to get to some updates, some shout outs, and I'm going to take your questions. So scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now is a link, offlinesharks.com/domain checklist. So I put this checklist together for all of you. This is the 10-minute domain connection checklist survival guide. So if you ever have to connect a domain, whether it's in high level or for any other project that you're working on, like if you're setting up a WordPress website and you need to connect your domain to the website or figure any of that out, this checklist will help you. So go to offlinesharks.com/domain checklist and download it. If you're watching this on YouTube at a later date, you can also just drop a comment below this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. And then me or someone from the team will also send you the link directly in the comments. So the domain checklist. So you'll see on here, I've got like an awesome setup just to make sure you don't get overwhelmed, right? So before you start, everything that you need to have before you start setting up a domain. So this is important. Like if you're going to connect a domain in high level or anywhere else, the very first thing you want to do is make sure that you can access your domain registrar, that you can access the DNS records, right? I've been down this road many times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to connect a domain. So I jump in, I start doing it. And then I'm like, I can't find the password to the DNS, or maybe the client doesn't have the password. So if you're doing this on behalf of a client, like if you're setting up a website for a client, you know you are going to need access to their domain registrar, wherever their domain is registered, if you didn't register it for them. So you know to get that information from your client first before you start to do this, right? So this checklist is basically gather all your information, check the current setup. So I can't stress this enough. DNS records, like you can be adding records and sometimes things conflict and you don't want to break something and then not be able to put it back to the way it was originally. So one thing that I love to do is before I start messing with DNS records, I take a screenshot of the current setup. So what would that look like? So look, if I were, let me share my screen here. I'm just going to share my screen and show you my, oh, hold on. Let's get over here. Yeah. I want to show you my Namecheap hosting account again. So if I were coming in here and this, let's say this was a client's website and I needed to do something to their DNS for something I'm working on for them. The very first thing I would do is I would use this handy little tool I have here and I would screen capture this whole area and I would just save that in a file for this client. Okay. The reason that I would do that is because if I get confused, if things get messed up, I can always go back to this screenshot and reset everything to exactly the way it is right now before I started. So I know I don't have to live in fear of breaking something and not being able to fix it. Because I know right now, everything is working the way it should. So I would screenshot this and even these records, this whole thing, and I would put it in the client's file. That way, if something goes wrong, I can always come back and use this, right? So that's number one. Screenshot your current DNS settings so you can undo if needed. Verify the domain isn't already pointing somewhere important, right? These are all things in the checklist. And then this walks you through the main connection, right? How to log in, how to add the record, how to add the CNAME, how to save the changes. This is the verification and troubleshooting. So look, one thing about DNS is a lot of times when you set up DNS, it just works right away. But there's other times when it doesn't. It can take time for DNS changes and settings to take effect. So you always have to let clients know about that and be aware of that yourself. Don't expect to just go in, make a change, and then it to be instantly working. It doesn't always work out that way. All right. So you can see I have the 24-hour rule, right? DNS changes can take up to 24 hours to fully propagate. This is important when you're managing your clients' expectations, because if you're going to change DNS settings or you're moving their old website to a new website, you're going to want to let them know, like, hey, there's a chance that this might not, like, there might be a little gap of where things might not be accessible or things aren't set up. Whenever I'm building websites or doing stuff like this, if it's a site that's live to the public, I like to do these changes in off hours, not in peak business hours for the business. So if you are working for a client and they're open from 8 in the morning until 5, like, I would not be trying to make changes to their website during their busiest times, right? I would probably wait till evening time and then do those changes. That way we're trying to think, when's the least amount of traffic that would be coming to the site, right? That way we're doing it in those downtimes. And then if there's an issue, you know, I'm not scrambling, the client's not freaking out because their website's down when it's a busy time, right? And then I've included in here some common quick fixes if it's not working, what to do if the email stopped working, and then the agency owner's secret weapon, document everything, test from the client's perspective, right? So again, download this checklist, offlinesharks.com/domain checklist. I think it will help you. And then there's also an emergency rollback plan. If everything breaks, this is what you do, right? And then you'll also see a pro tip here. Make sure and check that out as well. So take this PDF, use it. My gift to you to help you take the horror out of DNS setup and connecting domains and really make this a simple process that shouldn't take more than 10 minutes anywhere you're doing it. All right. Okay. So that is it for our training section. So now I want to go through some updates, and then we're going to do some shark shout outs, and I'm going to give away some Cash App money. Let me roll through though and just make sure I'm not missing anything. This is a great tip from Bill, who has some awesome wins coming up in the win section today. But he said, when you get your client's login credentials, don't forget to make two-factor authentication arrangements. Yes, two-factor, a big thing right now, right? So if the client has two-factor enabled, they're going to need to get a message and give you a code. So yes, great point, Bill. Make sure you reach out and you have that set up beforehand, that the client knows, like, hey, for instance, our Namecheap account has two-factor authentication. So if I were doing this for a client, I would say, hey, I'm going to need to log into your Namecheap account on this day at this time. When I do, you're going to get a code, and I'm going to need that code. Will you be available at this time to give me that code? Right. So that's what Bill's talking about here. That's awesome. Thanks, Patty. Glad you like it. Lori says, I have no dumb questions, Lori. No dumb questions. Lori says, if I build a dummy site for a new client, after you build it, you just connect their domain name or get one for them if they don't have one. Lori, great question. So yes, when you, what Lori is talking about here is building your websites on what is normally called a developer's environment, a developer domain. So this isn't really, this doesn't relate to high level so much, because in high level, you can build the websites in high level and they don't have to be connected to a domain, right? Because you're building them in high level and you have preview URLs and all that stuff. So you can see what the websites look like live in high level before you connect them to a domain. So like, for instance, let me just show you guys that real quick, because I think this is important. But if you're building a WordPress website for a client, you're going to need to build that website on a domain where you can go to the front and see what the website looks like, right? So what we do at our agency is we have a development domain. So we just have a domain that we bought, and all that domain is to build websites on and show them to clients for approval. So it's not getting indexed or anything like that. So it could just be something like, it could just be devmarketingcompany.com, or you could even make it a subdomain of your website, dev dot whatever your agency is. But I just bought a whole separate domain, dev name of the agency.com. And then that's where you build your websites. And then when the client is ready to take the website over, you're right, Lori, you just point the domain, you move the website to their hosting account, and then you point their domain to it, right? Now, if you don't want to do that, if you're not going to set up a development domain, then your client needs to get a hosting account, and you would just build the website in their hosting account. That is another option, okay? So you can either have your own development domain, so you can just set everything up, and then you transfer all the files to their hosting account and connect the domain at the end, or you can just have them sign up for their own hosting account and you can build it right in their own hosting account. Okay. Now in high level, the nice thing about building websites and stuff in high level is that, look, if I share my screen here, you will see, hold on one second here. Okay. See my high level screen here. So whenever I have a funnel like this, each step has a little view page. So even if this isn't connected to a domain, if I click this, I can still see what the page is supposed to look like live. So even though these pages aren't connected, I can look at them. Like, let's look at our website one. If I had a page in this website, like here, I'm just going to add a new page. We're going to make it test 1, right? If I want to set the path, I could. I'm just going to create a new page. Once it creates this page, you'll see that, again, there's this little preview link. So even though there is no domain connected to this website, I can still click on this link and see what this page looks like from the front end. Now, it doesn't look like anything because there's no content here, right? This is just a page I just created. But as I start adding stuff here, like if I start creating this from blank, I can use that preview link to go see what's going on here, right? So so high level allows you to do all this right inside of high level. So that is a great question, by the way. That's a great question, Lori. Great question. Oh yeah. So Lori, yes. So on high level, that is exactly right. So on high level, you would build the website in high level. And then when the client is ready to take it over, you would go to their domain registrar and you would point their domain name to that high level website, and boom, you're up and running. That's it. If they don't have a domain name, you can buy one for you. Like, here's my thoughts on that. I'm not a fan of a lot of marketing agencies will buy the hosting account and the domain name for their clients with the goal of like holding them hostage, meaning like, the client can't leave because I own the domain name and I own the hosting account. We do not believe in that for our clients. So whenever we take on a client, if they need a domain name or they need to purchase a hosting account, someone on our team helps them do that if they don't know how. We tell them like, hey, you need to buy a domain name and you need to have a hosting account, and then just give us access to it. We tell them up front, the reason we're having you do this is because if we did it, then we would own those assets, but this is your business and you should own those assets and have control over them. So that's why we want you to do it. Now, if you don't know how to purchase a domain name, you don't know how to set up a hosting account, we have someone on our team that can walk you through it and help you get that done. Okay. All right. Jason, we just use the ones that are inside high level, but yeah. Inside the template library, they have some, they got some good ones in there. Okay. So let's talk Smart Directory AI updates. Where are my Smart Directory AI members? Put a heck yeah, that's me in the comments there. I want to go through some updates here real quick that we've been rolling out. So first and foremost, this is one that I am super duper excited about. So you can see I am here on my Hawaii Thrive. Oh, it doesn't show up. I got to show you the whole thing. Hold on. I tried to do something different there and it didn't work out. I got to show you the window. Okay. I'm here on my hawaiithrive.com website, and I am excited to announce that as of, I believe, yesterday, that our URL structure has been updated. So the new URL structure for all directory sites is now live. So when you go to the front end of your Smart Directory AI site, you will see if I go here to Maui and I click on Maui County Restaurants, you'll see that my URL is now SEO, like it's showing the categories and subcategories that I set up in my Smart Directory. If you guys remember before, this was just a string of numbers, but now these URLs are SEO optimized. So this is hawaiithrive.com, businesses, Maui County Restaurants. And if I click on a individual listing, you'll see that now in the URL path is the name of the business. Woohoo! Is that awesome or what? I'm really excited for this. This is great. Now, there are a couple of other things that we are working on as well. So here's another one. Let me make sure. Yeah. So before, if you went to the blog, events, or job section and you clicked on any of these items, they all had the same URL that showed in the search bar. It would just say hawaiithrive.com events. But we now have set it up so all of your events, blogs, jobs, and news articles have unique URLs. Okay. So if you go to like a blog and you click on any blog, you'll see that now in the URL structure is the name of the blog. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Ugh. So that wasn't that way before, right? That was not that way before. So now we have that there. It's also the same for news. If you click on a thing, you'll see in the URL structure is the name of the news article as well. So we're super, super stoked about that. And I think there is one more SEO update, but I'm not sure if it is done yet. So I'm not going to come out. So those are two of the bigger ones, right? And Philip, no, the 100 free leads is not gone. If you sign up for Smart Directory AI, you can get that. So yeah, Regina's like, that's awesome. Yeah, this is a big update, right? This is a big update. So we're very, very excited about this. The devs have been working hard on this. And then we also have some other exciting updates in the works with the menu system. I know a lot of you have been wanting a new updated menu system. We've got some things in the work with that. So look, if you're a Smart Directory AI user, things are looking good. The future's looking bright. We are continuing to really drive that software forward. Again, you know, we said this in the beginning, and I can't stress this enough. Our goal with Smart Directory AI is to make it the best directory platform to use for getting clients for your AI services or your marketing services. And what we have right now is just the start. What we have now works. It's good. It does what it's supposed to do, but we're going to continue to make this better, right? So, oh yeah, here's some other updates as well. So I don't know if all of you have seen these, but let me show you these. These are some that we'd rolled out before. So whenever a consumer, we call them consumers, whenever someone comes to your site and they create an account, like you'll see up here in the right corner, we've got login and register. So for a business owner to claim their listing, they have to register an account. So once they register an account, so I'm just going to log into my registered account. So when someone registers an account, this is the consumer side of things. Whenever they log in, they'll see this dashboard, right? And you'll notice they can do things like edit their cover photo. They can edit their profile pic. They can change their password. This is their about information right here. But you'll also see they have a little tab of things that they can do. So when they go to a business, when you go to a business and you are logged in, you will notice that now this green button, instead of saying log in to follow, it says claim this business. And if I click this green button, then in the back end of the software, you, the owner of the Smart Directory AI site, gets a notification saying that someone has requested to claim this business. And then you can approve or deny that claim request. And then if you approve it, then when this person logs into their site, they can go to their owned businesses tab and they will see all the businesses that they own in this area and they can manage them. Okay. There's no this is all live right now, Joe. This all works in your Smart Directory AI right now. This is all built in. It is live. You have this capability right now without doing anything extra. It's already built in. So yeah, we're not doing that whole got to add plugins to do all this stuff. Nope. You have access to all this right now. So they can also see the business, like their claim requests. Like if they go to claim the business, they will see that they have a claim request right here and that it's pending. If they follow any businesses, they can see all the businesses that they follow right here. If they've applied for any jobs, they'll see that here. And then they can see events activity right here. But I want to go back to this owned businesses tab, because when somebody claims their listing and now they have a business in this owned businesses tab, there's a couple of awesome things that they have. So one, if they have not upgraded their listing from free to premium, they will see this big red upgrade button, right? Yeah. Oh, so Joe, maybe I misunderstood your question. Yeah. Smart Directory AI is an app that lives inside High Level. So when you install our app, you have all this functionality that I'm showing. So now they have this big upgrade. And when they click it, it takes them right to your premium packages. And it only shows the paid plans, right? Because they're already a free listing and they can just purchase from right here. So this is another place where we're hitting them to upgrade. They can view their listing or they can manage their listing. So if you click on manage the listing, they'll get this page where they can see analytics about their listing. They can see who the account owner is. Attachments. So these are like additional cover images that show up on their listing when they're premium. This is a premium listing, so that's why they can see all this stuff. Here's the news feed. So here's where they can go and add the news feed. So here's the news feeds are already there. If they want to add one, they just click this and they can create a new news article. They can add blogs, events. Here's where they add their social URLs. And again, all of these things here, business hours, these, you control these in your plans and pricing. So if I go to, I don't know if I have a, let me see if I have a free listing on here. So this is a free listing. So you'll see when I go to the Thai Bistro and Bar and I'm on their listing, all they see is analytics and who the account owner is. That's because none of those other features are available in my free listing. So whenever you add features to a plan, whenever someone goes to their profile login, it will add those sections to this. So free listings will see only what you allow them to see, and then your other plans will be that. Garish, we don't charge anything for the initial listing. We give them away free. So if you're a Smart Directory AI member, check out the honeypot prospecting method. That kind of goes over our process on all that. I think I even have a video on the YouTube channel going through that as well that you can see at offlinesharks.com/YouTube. All right. So those were the updates there. I'm trying to think if was there something else I wanted to show you with this. We're very excited about these updates and again, the direction Smart Directory AI is going. Oh, I did want to show you one other thing. So let me show you this, and then we're going to do some shout outs, give away some Cash App money. All right, so I'm going to present my screen one more time. I just wanted to call your guys' attention to the Smart Directory AI members area. You may have logged in here to set up your site the first time around. Maybe you don't regularly check back here. I just want to let you know that I am continually working to improve the instruction part of the setup process, helping you overcome any roadblocks and things that you may be having. So you may not see me all the times in the groups, but I am monitoring everything that goes on in the school group and the Facebook group, looking for people that are running in like stumbling blocks with getting their site set up and stuff like that. And then I'm constantly going back and updating the training to better address those issues and make it easier for people to get their site set up. So if you have not been in your Smart Directory AI members area in a while, there are some really good updates to the training in here. So one, like in this getting started section, I've added a video on how to access your bonuses. So right off the bat, people always say, how do I get my 100 leads? What do I do? Well, this shows you exactly how to do that, where to do it. So you don't have to wait for that. Let me see, what else have I got in here? Also, we've moved this helping us improve and getting support. So if you have a feature suggestion or something you want in Smart Directory AI, you can go to this link and you can add it to our candy board. And then the things with the most votes, that's the one we get. Shane, did you see my update? We just did that. We just rolled out some SEO updates. I just covered them a little minute ago. Okay. So initial site setup. I don't think some of these videos I have reshot. I think these are pretty much the same. So not much new in there, but let me look at these other sections. I know there's some new ones in here. Yes. So in the step 2 section, I've added a video walking you through the general settings. So I realized like we would show you all the settings in the other videos, but I didn't have a video, just like one video, just kind of walking you through all the general settings and what were there. So I've added that video to this area. I've also added a video that walks you through what you import with the snapshot and where you find all that stuff. Because one thing about Smart Directory AI is it works in conjunction with High Level. So there's the functionality that Smart Directory AI puts in your High Level account. That is all the directory functionality, like being able to build a directory website, listings, dashboard management, premium and free listings, pricing plans, all that stuff. But it also works with high-level assets like workflows and funnels and email templates. And those items, when you import a snapshot, they are distributed to the various places where those things live in high level. So for instance, if you import a snapshot of a website, you're going to find it in the sites members area of your high level account because that's where websites live. If you import a workflow, it's going to go to the workflow area. So there's no way when you import a snapshot to just go to one place and see all the stuff that you imported, because it's put in the various places where it lives in high level. So in this video, I just walk you through what all that stuff is and where you can find it inside your high level account. And then in step 3, let me look through here. This video right here, claiming listings, this walks you through the consumer side of creating an account, claiming a listing, and what all that looks like, right? So that's a great video you might want to check out. Again, I've also reshot some of these videos because we've updated some of this stuff. So blogs, jobs, and events for premium listings, that's an updated video. Review settings is an updated video. I've also reshot this connecting your smart directory AI funnel. Adding custom pages, I think, is new. Setting up plans and pricing, there's a new video there. And also this connecting your domain is new, right? I just redid that one. And then in this post live setup, I did reshoot this setting up lead connector for email and SMS. And also, yeah, I think that's the only one there. And then the Honey Pot prospecting system, these are all of the prospecting process, right? If you want to know, well, what's our strategy for pricing premium listings? That's all in this section. This is all the strategic side of prospecting. Bonuses, right? So we've got a lot of new bonuses in here. So we've added let's see, here's a secret bonus bribe. If you go and do something for us, we'll give you a secret bonus bribe. Then we've got our pre-launch Honeypot client capture checklist. This is a snapshot that allows you to prospect before your site's live. We got the local liftoff method, a premium listings training, a branding training, surefire close, right? Here's your 100 businesses. So new bonuses in here as well. So always make sure you check back. So Dorn says, yawn. Dorn, don't make me come through this computer. Of course, I don't know if Dorn was talking to me. Maybe he's talking to somebody in the comments. But okay. All right. So let's do some shark shout outs. Let's get some awesome stuff going on here. First, before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to all of our Offline Sharks accountability people. So inside the school group, every week, Dorn makes a post to hold everyone accountable. They go in, they post what they're working on, what they got done, what they need to finish. It is awesome to see this list of people growing and all the progress and stuff that is being made in here. So congratulations, everybody. Congratulations. And then next up, I want to celebrate our where did it go? Oh, now I don't see it on here. We have a member of the week. Why did it disappear? Okay, well, I'll do this first, then I'll do that. So I want to celebrate all the people who got their Smart Directory AI sites live in the past week. So these are just the people that let us know in the past 7 days, hey, their Smart Directory AI site is up and live. So congratulations to Lisa, Sheena, Bobby, Ash, Shira, like He-Man, Bobby, and Wayne. Congratulations. I love seeing this list of live Smart Directory AI sites get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. We're going to keep shouting you guys out every week. So really, really awesome stuff, everybody. Really, really awesome stuff. Also, if you missed the training we did on Wednesday, I did a training called Walkthrough Wednesday, Winning with Workflows. You can find it on our YouTube channel if you missed that. I'm going to take this link for the PDF off the screen because we are going to be doing a training this coming Wednesday that is all about Smart Directory AI. So I would love for you to sign up, register, and show up live. I will be there live. We'll be doing training. I'll be taking questions, a lot like this, but all focused on Smart Directory AI and how that works. So if you just go to offlinesharks.com/honeypot, you can register for that training. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, how does Smart Directory AI get me clients? How does this all work together? What is the honeypot prospecting method? What is the local liftoff method? What is the client capture kit? Show up to this training on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, and I will reveal all. I'll walk you through the whole process. I'll pull back the curtain. I'll show you everything. I'll even demo the software, walk through that. I'll take your questions, all that stuff. So just go to offlinesharks.com/honeypot. Sign up for that training today. Now, I do want to give a big shout out because we do have a member of the week. Our member of the week, I can't find the graphic, but a big shout out to Mr. Ash Snow. Ash has been in our community for a while. He's our member of the week. Congratulations, Ash. What do members of the week get? Well, they get this fantastic Offline Shark treasure chest. Ash, nobody knows what's inside here except the people that have won it. So don't spill the beans when you get yours. But someone from the team will be reaching out to you, Ash, because you are a member of the week. Or you can just send us a ticket, offlinesharks.com/support. Let us know, hey, Tom said I'm member of the week. And we'll get that treasure chest sent out to you. So congratulations, Ash Snow, on being our member of the week. All right, now is the part of the program that I really love where we get to do Shark Shoutouts. So let's give it up. Our first shout out goes to our member of the week, Ash Snow. He had a SEO set up for an existing client with a cannabis dispensary in a active campaign, $1,000, working on a monthly deal for ads and SEO. He also launched his Smart Directory AI site. His launch promotion will be the mailer and premium listing for $9.97. That's awesome. That is awesome, Ash. So what Ash is talking about there is he's doing a direct mailer. He's going to feature some of the businesses from his directory on the mailer, and they get a year premium listing, and they get their business mailed to 10,000 residents, most likely for $9.97. That is an awesome deal, Ash. Way to take massive action and put those things together. Good stuff. Next up, Storm and Norman. 5,800 SaaS Go High Level Suite includes SEO, AI chat, SMS, and voice, review setup, landing pages, email list building, and funnels set up as needed. This is an awesome win and a great example of exactly what I was talking about in our training session, right? Norm is able to handle all of this stuff in Go High Level for this client. Awesome, awesome win, Norm. Next up, we have a monthly recurring win with 2 clients for a total of $800 a month. This goes to Jackie Posada. Jackie, this win warmed my heart. I loved seeing this. So she's going all in to get to 10K monthly recurring revenue by September 12th. I think that is an awesome goal, Jackie. You got this. I know you can do this. Get out there and crush it. So big shout out to Jackie Posada. Congratulations. And Mr. Bill McKinney, who's been a little quiet. I was like, man, I haven't heard from Bill in a while. And then he just posted up a post. He sold an existing AI client a couple of landing page funnels for their PPC campaigns, $2,000. And then he shared some other wins he's had. A local print newspaper that's running his PPC ads loves the funnels and wants to talk about collaborating. He's meeting with them next week. He has monthly recurring revenue for 2 AI employees at $650, 2 A2P registrations at $250 each. So for those of you in our group, so Bill is charging to register, A2P register his clients, $250 to get them A2P approved. So awesome win, Bill. Monthly recurring revenue for the last 3 months, he forgot to share $1,950. So awesome stuff, Bill. Great, great wins. That brings this week's Shark total to $12,700 for the week of June 7th through June 13th. A grand total of $639,377.43 since the start of 2025 that you, our members, have reported as closed deals and money you've made. Nick and I do not get a cut of that. So awesome work, everybody. Congratulations. Way to go. We're over 500,000 for the year. We're only halfway through the year. We are going to cross 1 million. Hopefully we get to 2 million. I want to see this stuff get charged up. So if you have wins, you haven't shared them, make sure you do that. All right. We've got let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. So member of the week, we got the checklist. We did the Smart Directory AI live sites. We did accountability. We did shout outs. Awesome. I guess the only thing left to do is wish you guys a happy Friday the 13th. This is the luckiest day of the year for me. I love Friday the 13th. It's my lucky day. So we're going to pick a couple of lucky winners and give them some Cash App money. So if you guys would do me a favor, in the comments of wherever you are watching this video, just put in #luck. #luck. Now, I am a big fan of making your own luck. So I consider myself a pretty lucky guy, but that's mainly because I put in the work to make that luck happen. So #luck. We're going to pick a couple of lucky winners by chance and give them $25 in cold, hard cash. If you have any questions while people are putting those in, just let me know. Jason says #work. Yes. I was gonna make this #make your own luck, but I didn't want to make you guys type all that in. So I just shortened it to luck. But I'm a big believer in making your own luck. You know, when you put in the work, you know, Jackie has been working really hard to get those wins and build this stuff out. And it's taken some time, but she's put in the work, and eventually the work and all that stuff lines up and you get some great wins. So awesome stuff. Let me see here. I'm just going to scroll through and see if I missed any questions while we're doing this. I don't think that I did. Yeah, Bill says, still in that premium lister thing. Awesome. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to do the first one. So our first winner of $25 in Cash App money is Joe. Joe. Is it Joe Plant or Joe Planty? Joe, congratulations. $25 in Cash App money coming your way. Our next winner is I did those sound effects myself, by the way. Megalodon. Obviously, this is rigged. This is rigged. Dorn, I don't know who you bribed on our team to get your name in there, but congratulations, buddy. Now, you do a lot of hard work. Really love seeing it. So way to go, Dorn. Way to go. All right. Look, that's it for this week's live coaching call. Real quick, did I miss any questions? Does anybody have a question that you absolutely need answered right now? Let me know in the comments. While you're typing that in, I just want to remind all of you, if you haven't already, go to offlinesharks.com/honeypot. Sign up for the training next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be all about Smart Directory. I'm going to do a demo of the software. I'm going to walk you through how we use Smart Directory to get clients, how it integrates with High Level, how all of that stuff works. I'll go over the honeypot prospecting method. I'm going to go over how to turn your premium leads into your premium listings into premium clients. I'm going to talk about the local liftoff method, all of that stuff. So make sure you go there, do that. Also, too, if you didn't, make sure in the comments, download the PDF as well. All right, everybody. Look, have a great Friday the 13th. Have an awesome weekend. Stay safe. Practice aloha. And I will see you here next Friday. Same shark time, same shark channel. All right, everybody. Stay safe. Talk to you later.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam session. We've helped thousands just like you start and scale their businesses. If you'd like our help to grow your business, go to the link on your screen now and let us know how we can help you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then, aloha.